Okay, let's dive into this pretty incredible story. It's all about how one nation is trying to completely rewrite the rules of the global AI game.
You know, when you think about AI, it feels like it's all about giants like the US and China, right? It seems like it's all about who has the most computing power, the most capital. So the big question is, how does any other country compete? How do you carve out your own path and not just become, a digital colony?
Well, Vietnam is making a really bold play here. Instead of just trying to play the same game as the superpowers, they're betting on this radical, two-part plan. And this isn't just about trying to keep up. The goal here is something much bigger: true technological sovereignty.
So, what is this plan? It's basically built on two massive pillars that honestly almost seem to contradict each other. On one hand, they're rolling out some of the world's strictest AI laws, and on the other, they're pumping huge amounts of state money into their own domestic AI industry. It's this incredible high-wire act, slamming on the brakes and hitting the accelerator at the exact same time.
And if you're wondering why so strict, well, you only have to look at some recent cautionary tales. Take the 2025 scandal in Albania. They had this AI governance system that was supposed to fight corruption, but it ended up being manipulated for, you guessed it, corrupt ends. It led to massive protests, it was a total meltdown, and that's exactly what Vietnam is trying to avoid.
So Vietnam's response is to basically write this simple but really powerful principle right into the law. Article 4 of their new AI law says it all. AI has to stay human-centered. It's a tool that serves human authority. It never, ever replaces it. Humans have to have the final say, period.
All right, so let's dig into that first part of the plan, the strict new rulebook. And we're not just talking about some high-level philosophy here. This is a super detailed legal framework designed to put that human-in-control idea into actual practice.
Okay, so the heart of this new law is what they call a risk-based framework. It's pretty straightforward, actually. Every AI system gets sorted into a tier based on how much harm it could potentially cause. You've got high-risk systems, think stuff in healthcare or finance, and those face some really tough pre-market checks. Then you have medium risk, like chatbots, which just have to be transparent about what they are. And finally, low-risk tools, like a spam filter, have almost no new rules to follow. Simple, right?
And then, the government drew some absolute red lines. Decree 101 basically lays out all the things that are completely 100% forbidden. We're talking about things like using deepfakes to manipulate people, using AI to exploit vulnerable groups, and any kind of mass public surveillance. These are the total non-negotiables. But okay, like I said, strict rules are only half the story. The other half is just as ambitious. It's all about building a powerful homegrown AI industry from the ground up. And they have a great name for it: Make in Vietnam.
And they are not messing around. The government is putting some serious money where its mouth is. They've set up a national AI development fund. And get this, they're committing about $1.18 billion, that's billion with a B, US dollars to fund research and development and help local startups get off the ground.
Now this is the really clever part. It's not just about throwing money at research and hoping something sticks. The government is literally creating a huge guaranteed market for these new Vietnamese AI companies. How? They're mandating that by the end of 2026, 100% of essential public services, everything from emergency response to filing your taxes, has to be integrated with AI.
And what this does is it creates this incredible self-sustaining cycle, like a flywheel. The state funding provides the cash to get started. The public mandate creates the customer demand and, crucially, the data. And all of that gives these local firms the perfect environment to build and master their technology in a protected home market before they even think about going global.
And they are moving fast. I mean, incredibly fast. The law was passed in late 2025, and it took effect just a few months after that. That massive public service mandate, it kicks in at the end of this year, and everyone has to be fully compliant by 2027. So yeah, they've given the market a super clear and super aggressive roadmap.
So you can imagine this high-stakes gamble is getting a lot of attention, and the reaction from businesses, both inside Vietnam and internationally, has been, well, let's just say it's sharply divided.
Yeah, it's really a split story. On the home front, local tech giants like Vittel and FPT are absolutely thrilled. I mean, for them, this is a massive opportunity, a protected market where they can become regional powerhouses. But international players? They're being a lot more cautious, kind of looking at this new landscape and trying to figure it all out.
And foreign business groups like the Business Software Alliance have raised some very specific flags. They're worried about how fast the law was pushed through without much consultation.
They're concerned that the compliance rules for that medium risk category are actually pretty burdensome. And the big one, they're really concerned about rules that would force foreign companies with high-risk AI to set up a physical shop in Vietnam.
But all of this, the rules, the money, the mandates, it's all building toward a much bigger idea, an endgame, really. And it's a concept that could totally redefine what national power looks like in the 21st century.
And that big idea is what people are calling sovereign AI. And just to be clear, this isn't about walling off the country from foreign tech. Not at all. It's about a nation having meaningful control over its own technological destiny. It's about making sure that the AI used in your country operates according to your laws and your values, instead of just depending on foreign platforms that you have zero control over. And when you put it next to its neighbors, you can really see just how different Vietnam's approach is. I mean, you look at Singapore, and their strategy is all collaborative, trying to attract the best global talent. You look at Indonesia, and they're really focused on data protection. But Vietnam, they're taking this very assertive, top-down, state-led path. It's a real outlier.
So what's the potential payoff here? Because, let's be real, this isn't just about high-minded principles. It's about cold, hard cash. And the numbers are staggering. If this whole strategy works, analysts think it could add something like $130 billion to Vietnam's GDP by 2040. That is a massive number.
Which brings us to the final big-picture question. Could this made-in-Vietnam rulebook for AI actually become the new global blueprint for other middle-power nations? Vietnam is making a huge bet here. They're betting that a future built on trust, safety, and sovereignty is the winning hand in the age of AI. It's a massive gamble for sure, but if it pays off, it won't just change Vietnam, it could change the game for everyone.